Vohukshathra Gatha, Yasna 51. Vohukshatram Virimbagen Abi Berishtem Vidishem Nais Izachit Ashantare Charity Shathanais Mazdavahishtem Tatnenuchit Vareshanem. Justice will procure the good power, which is a choice and most productive destiny for those who with zeal through their deeds practice the best. O mindful, grant that I may effect that. All sorts of extra parentheses sometimes through this whole book. Verse 2. Tave mazda pavim ahura shai yecha tibyacha armite doisha moe ishtois kshathrim kshmakem vahumananha vahmai daedi savanho. First of all, O mindful Lord, assure me that the power of compensation, and then thine, O justice, and thine, O love, through good disposition, O do you grant profit to the worshipper of you. Well, the worshipper of you, not the angels of various things. Verse 3. Avegeshahem yantu yoiveshyathanais sarente ahura ashahizvae Ukhdais vanheos mananhu yaesham tu pavuyo mazdavradakshtai. O thou mindful, thou, O mindful, art the first teacher of those who with their deeds and in their tongue commune with the utterances of a good disposition. May they attract your ears, O mindful Lord in justice. So remember, every true prophet of God came in with the language of his own people. Verse 4. Kathra rois avseratas Kuthra meresdeka akstat Kuthra yaso huyenashem kuspenta armitis Kuthramanu vahishtem Kuthra thwakshatra mazda. Oh, there was a line from the last verse. Okay. Mayest thou ask all these. But verse 4 is, where is the compensation for griefs? Where may we find pity? Where may we find pity? Where may they attain justice? Where may a man establish the bounteous love? Where is the best disposition? Where, O mindful, is thy power. Verse 5. Vispata peresas yatha ashat hacha gambidat vastryo shathana is erishvo hashukratus nemanha yedatha embyo erizratum kshayas ashivaya chista. Where may the pasturer, having become a just person through his deeds, acquire cattle? Will he, doing so, if being of good understanding, he reverently prays to him who is a just judge, ruling over both compensations for the benefit of the clever. And verse 6. Yeva Yoven Heus das Deyascha Huevarai Radat Ahuro Kshathra Mazdai at Ahmai Akat Ashyu Yehoe Noet Vidaeti Apemme and Heus Urvaese. The mindful Lord who at the last crisis of life, through his power, distributes what is better than good to anyone who prepares for his will. But what is worse than bad to who does not distribute? So remember, the idea in thelema is that a person is not a black magician because they are upon what is not internally contrived, conflagrated, whatever, neither nor external delusions. And of course, there's the idea of the Islama, meaning surrendering the will. Verse 7. Daedi moe yegam tasho apascha urvaraescha emeritata harvata spenishta menu mazda tevishiata ueti mananha bahusenha. O mindful fashioner of the bovine, the waters and the plants, through the most bounteous mentality, grant me immortality and health, which are full of vitality, and are, through good disposition, enduring in the holy doctrines. Verse 8. Adzito evakshyamas Davidusha zinam ruyat yarako yaragvayate ashtaya shamdandre vozimatrashyato yevidashem raviti. I shall speak for thee, O mindful, about what is threatened against the wicked, and what is wished for to him who maintains righteousness. To speak to the intelligent man. To speak to the expert knower. Rejoicing through the word which is told to the expert knower. Verse 9. Yam kshnutem ranu imyadaeth watra sukramazda ayanha kshusta abiyavaudakshtem davue rashayeng hedreng vantem savayuashavanem. And do thou, mindful within both contending parties, set satisfaction as a token. The metal molten through thy red fire. The metal molten through thy red fire, harm the wicked, but profit the righteous. Verse 10. At yemanam arakshayate anyatha ahmat mazda vodamois Trujonus tadus dae yoe henti mebios baya Hashem venuya ashigat te. Whereas he who would wish to kill me, not considering this coming event, O mindful, he is malicious towards the creatures that are existent, a son of the wicked, while I will for myself call justice that he may come with a good compensation. Verse 11. Kervathus pitamai Zarathustrae namazda kevashavrasta kaspenta armites keva vanheus mananhu achistamagae ereshvu. O mindful, who was a friend to Spitama Zarathustra, who has consulted with justice, what is bounteous love, or who as and who, as one of the righteous for the Magian cause, showed himself to be considered of good disposition. Verse 12. Nuit taim kshnas vapyo kevinu peretu zemo Zarathustrem spitamem hyat ahmi ururast asto hyat hoe im charatascha aderescha zoeshenu vaza. Not very much. That pederast, or vulgar fellow, of the Kavai tribe, ingratiate himself with me, when at the bridge of the earth he refused hospitality to Zarathustra Spitama, and to both that shivering with cold whom he was driving along. And verse 13, I'm not sure whether it's talking, he was basically calling the person someone who has sex with pre-adolescents. Vulgar fellow is probably it, but we'll find out in the dictionary, which I guess I should not just read the dictionary, I should do something more than just read when I get to that part. But verse 13. Tadragvato merediti Yasna erezaus Hathim Yahyarvakraditi Chinvato Peretae Akae Havias Shathanais his vascha ashahyanasvaye patho. Thus, the spirit of the wicked destroys the genuine of the straight, and his soul trembles at the bridge of the sifting which will make him manifest. And through his deeds and tongue, the wicked have perished from the path of justice. Verse 14. Nuit urvatha dato imyascha karapanu vastrat arem gavoe aruis ascenda havais shathanais cha sengais cha Yes, sengho apemem drujo demane adat. The friendly Karapans do not cultivate their pasture properly by the proper rules. They effect by their deeds and doctrines griefs for the bovine, which doctrine will at last bring into the dwelling of the wicked. One is reminded about modern factory farming, modern principleless production of land. Verse 15. Yad mizdem Zarathustro magavamyo choisht paragaro demane huro mazda jasat pauruyo tavevahu mananha ashaycha savais chivishi. The mindful Lord shall, as a first comer, come into the dwelling of praise. I, Zarathustra, expect through prophets for justice and through good disposition the compensation which I taught to the Magians. So just like Muhammad and the Arabs, Muhammad wasn't bringing out the Arabi of, he wasn't encouraging that. He was bringing a new order that those people could understand. Same thing with the, but don't worry, the Magians came in and redid things for themselves. Verse 16, well, no, sarcasm, if you couldn't tell that. Tam kavavistaspo magahyakshatra vanheus padabis mananuyam chestim ashamantas pentu mazdaya huro athanesasdyaushta. But Kava Vistaspa attained these together with the rule over the Magian tribe, through justice as an advisory manager, and through the verses of good disposition. He attained wisdom. Thus for us is the mindful Lord bounteous at wish. And remember, those events happen in Azerbaijan or Afghanistan. That one hears about Zarathustra. Verse 17. Berkdamu ifirashastru vugvadaenduist kerupem danayae vanhuyae yamhuish yamdatu kshayas mazdai ahuroashaya azdyae gerizdim. Frasha Ashtra Havagva has shown to me a prized body, in order that I may attain to the recipient of justice. May the ruling, mindful Lord grant me her desired for the benefit of her good spirit. See, we can desire the good things of this world, or the good beings of this world, through the good things which they operate. Verse 18. Tam chistin den jamas po havogvo istois havarenai ashaverente tat kshathram mananhu vanuhis vidu tatmue daedi ahura hyad mazdarapentava. May Jamaspa Agvagva, glorious with riches, choosing this wise one, through justice partake in the realm of good disposition. May the mindful Lord grant me that they may find support with thee. Now, Islam forbids something called bad, in which there's sort of a condition on the marriage that, oh, I'll let you marry and you let me marry. But people decide, hey, let's marry each other's daughters. Nothing wrong with that, as long as there's agreement. But in terms of forcing the thing on anybody or making it, one marriage fails and the other one has to fail, no, that's not right, or any other such thing. Verse 19. Votatna medio ima en haspitama mai das deda ya vandemno yahumishasas ebi mazda data mrat Gathas Vahyu. O maid Yam Anga Spitama, he who has given that to this, whose having known through his spirit the life is wishing again. So, through this life, for the next. Verse 20. Tat vene hazasha enhu vispa enhu dedia esavu asham vahu mananha ukhdaya es armites Jazemnanho Nemanha Mazdae Rafedrem Changedu. That a prophet of yours, all willed 4 leaders. Oh, okay, hold on. that which is a profit of yours, all to give utterances with which love, with good disposition, being worshipped with reverence, will grant justice as a support of mindful. So surely we worship with our emotions and our thoughts, don't we? But we don't worship the secondary. So the four leaders, Vishtaspa, Frasha Ashtra, Jamaspa, and Maid Yomanga, are mentioned. Okay, verse 21. Armatuis naspentu vo chisti ukdais Shyathana dahenna shem spenvat Vohukshatram mananha Mazda edadat ahurotem vanuhim yasashin. I desire a good compensation, and this to grow bounteous through the influence of love. Such a person is prospering justice with his doctrinal thought, through his utterances, deeds, and spirit. With his doctrine, through his utterances, deed, and spirit. Will the mindful Lord, through good disposition, grant the power. Verse 22. Moeashat hachavahishtem Yasna peti Vaedamazdaya huro yoea inharecha hentitcha tayazae havais namenis piricha ya jasae vanta. If the mindful Lord knows among who were and who are, to whom, because of their hymns, the best from justice is yet. These, even by their names, will I worship, and into their presence will I enter with praise. Not worship. I will make mention of them. Okay, that's a lot clearer. Okay, thought there was some issue here, but so higher criticism of the Gatha, part 4 of the first chapter. Thus, having constructed a comparatively modern framework, now let us put therein what actual facts we do know of Zarathustra's life, and notice if they do not fit the surroundings. Bartholomew A. 124 well speaks of the narrow conditions under which the Gathas arose. We hear of a few enemies, Geurehma and Bendva, of one supporter, Jamaspa, Vagva. Zarathustra thunders excommunications because, on a cold winter's night, he and his companion and possessed have not been hospitably sheltered. 51:12. Slaughtering of cattle seems to be the chief sin. 32:8 and 32:14. The prophet cries to the divinity and appeals to destiny about no more than possession of some house in the neighborhood. 53. Against enemies, violence, and even murder are meritorious. 53:8. That's phrased kind of wrong. Not murder is meritorious, and violence is not always meritorious, but a pair of cows in heaven is the promise made to believers. 33:3, 44:6, 52, 51:5. And for himself, Zarathustra urges divinity for 10 mares with stallions and a camel. 44:18. Thus does Bartholomew conclude, the Reformation which attaches to the name of Zarathustra is not exclusively religious but also agricultural, attempting to accustom the nomadic tribes of eastern Iran to permanency of settlement and consequent rational agriculture and cattle raising. The local tradition derives Zarathustra from western Iran, and local agricultural conditions that support this. Western Iran stood then doubtless in a higher cultural position than the East. It would explain why Zarathustra attempted to spread the blessings of orderly conditions which he had experienced in the West, the East, the scene of his activities, and it is quite comprehensible that Vishtaspa, as an enlightened ruler, favored the prophet primarily for his agricultural aims and supported him therefore. The consciousness is what makes it religious. You can pray all you want and it won't even be a spiritual act if you're just going through the motions and other people made me pray or something. I'm praying for the sake of others. It's not even a spiritual thing. So it goes beyond, religion is far beyond rituals and taking a day off once a week or something like that. But how some Christian preachers thought. Part 4 of this conclusion, we might characterize Zarathustra as combining the sociological and political activities of a Joshua with the theogony and agricultural teachings of a Hesiod. The books of Joshua and Judges represent very tellingly the Gathic struggles with the demon opponents and all their deeds of blood, while Hesiod's teaching of a supreme god, the dualism of the original Eris, love, celestial and physical, the fire, the guardian spirits, 121 through 126, agriculture and morality are strikingly duplicated in the message of Zarathustra. Of course, Hesiod lived a century later and represents sociologically a subsequent stage of development from that of pastoral to agricultural civilization. For though Zarathustra may have taught this step according to our interpretation of Yasna 50, there's no doubt that he primarily represents that earlier social step, the dawn of pastoral life among the nomads of western Iran. It should not be thought that this sociological interpretation or valuation of Zarathustra's religion diminishes or degrades it. On the contrary, it exalts it. First, the religion is drawn down from the nebulous region of speculation in the clear, sane light of historical actuality. Secondly, Zarathustra shines all the brighter by contrast with the greater obscurity. It only adds to his glory that he was willing and able to successfully implant his monotheism, his personal devotion, his passion for righteousness, and his humanitarianism among those blood-stained nomads. In conclusion, let us gather from him all the good we may without repeating that immortal error of deifying his errors also. And honestly, the generations after that kind of switch things up, that's what we need to look at here. But Kshnatara Hura Hemasta Ashamboho Kamnamasta Ashamboho.